Hello, this is Batman Jeremy W. Hello, I am your host, Jeremy, and this is my new series, Debunking Bad Interpretations of the Bible. And in this series, I will be debunking the flat earth theology interpretation of the Bible, and presenting an alternative interpretation that aligns with the heliocentric reality we live in, the one where the earth is a globe and it orbits the sun. I hope you will enjoy this presentation. And we're back. If you haven't watched my previous videos on debunking the flat earth, please go watch them now so that you can get caught up. Welcome back. Okay, we're starting on slide 36, the four corners of the earth. And he will gather the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah 11, verse 12, NASB. If the earth has corners, doesn't that imply that it is flat? We shall see. Next slide. The four corners of the earth. The four corners refers to the points of the compass, north, south, east, and west. The Hebrew word is kanaf, which refers to the wings of a bird. Other English translations use the word quarters, directions, wings, and all over. Next slide. Here's an illustration of the globe earth over the flat earth, the four corners of the earth. Next slide. Another illustration of the globe earth over the flat earth split into four quarters. You know, the four hemispheres. Well, quarter spheres, I should say. Next slide. The molten mirror. Can you with him spread out the skies, strong as a molten mirror? Job 37, verse 18. Doesn't this imply that the skies are solid? Next slide. The molten mirror. Skies does not come from the usual Hebrew word for skies or heaven, shamayim, but from shashak. In context, the passage is referring to a storm, referring to clouds, lightning, and darkness. Next slide. The molten mirror. The Hebrew word ray, translated mirror, is found nowhere else in the Old Testament. Ray comes from the Hebrew verb ra, which means to appear or to see. The Greek Septuagint translation of this verse uses the Greek word hoesis, which means appear. Next slide. The molten mirror. Can you with him spread out the mighty clouds with a molten appearance? Job 37, verse 18. In addition, the sermon given by Elihu was immediately rebuked by God in chapter 38, who says, "Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge?" Job 38, verse 2. Next slide. The vaulted dome. The one who builds his upper chambers in the heavens and has founded his vaulted dome over the earth. Amos 9, verse 6, NASB. Next slide. Here's different readings of the same verse from different translations. In the KJV, it says, hath founded his troops in the earth. In the NIV, it says, sets its foundations on the earth. In the CEV, it says, let its foundations rest on the earth. In the DRB, it says, hath founded his bundle upon the earth. And in the Septuagint, it says, and establishes his promise upon the earth. Next slide. The vaulted dome. The Hebrew word in question is aguda, meaning a bunch or band. And you shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood which is in the basin. Exodus 12, verse 22. And the sons of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner and became one band and stood on the top of a certain hill. 2 Samuel 2, verse 25. This is not the fast which I choose, to listen the bonds of wickedness, to undo the bands of the yoke, and to let the oppressed go free, and break every yoke. Isaiah 58, verse 6. The vaulted dome. The one who builds his upper chamber in the heavens and has founded his band of people over the earth. Amos 9, verse 6. Here's your proof. Have you never heard or understood? Are you deaf to the words of God, the words he gave before the world began? Are you so ignorant? It is God who sits above the circle of the earth. The people below must seem to him like grasshoppers. He is the one who spreads out the heavens like a curtain and makes his tent from them. He judges the great people of the world and brings them all to nothing. Isaiah 40, verses 21 to 23. Next slide. Do you not know? Hath it not been heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have you not understood the foundations of the earth? It is he who sitteth upon the globe of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as locusts. He that stretcheth out the heavens as nothing, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in. He that bringeth the searchers of secrets to nothing, and that hath made the judges of the earth as vanity. Isaiah 40, verses 21 to 23 DRA. Here's an illustration of the globe earth circling our nice sun, and the moon circling the earth, not to scale. Next slide. This diagram shows the true meaning of Isaiah 40, verse 22. Isaiah is pointing out that the shape of the earth is a sphere, that it has a circular rotation, a circular orbit, and the moon has a circular orbit around the earth. God is sitting so high on his throne that he can see the true shape of the earth, a sphere, the circular orbit around the sun, and that is what is meant by the circle of the earth in that verse. The last part of the verse is talking about the expanding heavens and Big Bang cosmology. This verse even confirms that. That is what is meant by he spreads out the heavens. Next slide. Another way to look at this verse, circle of the earth, is to say that it looks at the partial lunar eclipse and the and the earth's circular shadow on the moon. The Hebrew word chug, which means circle, circuit, or sphere, is what appears in the Bible here. It implies a sphere. Next slide. Ball versus circle/sphere. Ball. Crumble you into a ball and toss you away into a distant barren land. There you will die, and your glorious chariots will be broken and useless. You are a disgrace to your master. Isaiah 22 verse 18. Circle/sphere. I will be your enemy surrounding Jerusalem and attacking its walls. I will build siege towers and destroy it. Isaiah 29 verse 3. Use only the best sheep from the flock and heap fuel on the fire beneath the pot. Bring the pot to a boil and cook the bones along with the meat. Ezekiel 24 verse 5, all from the New Living Translation. Next slide. The Hebrew word used here is dur, meaning ball or circle, usually translated as ball, encircling, or pile. The reason the earth isn't called a ball in the Bible is because the verses are using metaphors. The words used to refer to metaphors, not the earth. So even according to the Bible, the earth is a sphere. We live on a globe earth in a heliocentric reality. That's the way God implied it in the Bible. Next slide. The three things that these verses are talking about: the power of God, the fact that the earth is a sphere and the heavens are expanding, God is the judge. I gave you the context, so don't say I took it out of context. Next verse. He alone has spread out the heavens and marches on the waves of the sea. Job 9 verse 8. You are dressed in a robe of light. You stretch out the starry curtain of the heavens. Psalm 104 verse 2. God the Lord created the heavens and stretched them out. He created the earth and everything in it. He gives breath and life to everyone in all the world, and it is he who says, I, the Lord, hath called you to demonstrate my righteousness. I will guard and support you, for I have given you to my people as the personal confirmation of my covenant with them, and you will be a light to guide all nations to me. Isaiah 42 verses 5 and 6. The Lord your Redeemer and Creator says, I am the Lord who made all things. I alone stretched out the heavens. By myself I made everything in the earth. I am the one who exposes the false prophets as liars by causing events to happen that are contrary to their predictions. I cause wise people to give bad advice, thus proving them to be fools. Isaiah 44 verses 24 and 25. It was my hand that laid the foundations of the earth. The palm of my right hand spread out the heavens above. I spoke, and they came into being. Isaiah 48 verse 13. Yet you have forgotten the Lord your Creator, the one who stretched out the sky like a curtain and laid the foundations of the earth. Will you remain in constant dread of human oppressors? Will you continue to fear the anger of your enemies? Where is their fury and anger? It is gone. Isaiah 51 verse 13. But God made the earth by his power, and he preserves it by his wisdom. He has stretched out the heavens by his understanding. Jeremiah 10 verse 12. He made the earth by his power, and He preserves it by his wisdom. He has stretched out the heavens by his understanding. Jeremiah 51, verse 15. For the future deliverance of Jerusalem, this message concerning the fate of Israel came from the Lord. This message is from the Lord, who stretched out the heavens, laid the foundations of the earth, and formed the spirit within humans. Zechariah 12, verse 1. That was the final slide for this video. See you next time. Okay? To be continued in the next video, which will be up soon. This will be continued. Goodbye.